Hi, my name is Donovan Levere, and I'm an information technology and networking major. Today I'm going to be talking about the basics of ethics, as well as how ethics will affect my profession. Now, for those who aren't familiar with ethics, ethics is the philosophical study of morality, and morality has to basically do with right and wrong. So it kind of analyzes and looks at different decisions and actions within our world today and tries to determine whether that decision or action is right and wrong and tries to use moral reasoning to prove its point. Now, for me personally, what I have enjoyed the past couple of weeks, or what I've learned most about, is fallacies within moral reasoning. Now, fallacies are arguments that are used that aren't based or aren't good reasoning when trying to make a point. The one for example is appeal to person, and that's basically an argument that's used to claim that basically just because of a person's characteristics or because of who that person is, they should be rejected or their argument or reasoning is irrelevant. So that's just one specific example. Now there's also four main elements of ethics that need to be analyzed when doing ethics. The first one is the preeminence of reason. And the preeminence of reason is basically saying that, ethics, it requires, deep critical thinking as well as reasoning. So when doing ethics and, analyzing actions and decisions, we have to look at it from various angles and really think deeply about it. It requires a lot of effort. Then there's the universal perspective, and that's basically saying that, when you have an idea um, or a moral statement, and when it applies to a situation, it has to apply to other situations that are similar to it. So when you make a statement about one instance, that statement has to be relevant to another instance that may be similar to the one that you're discussing. Then there's the principle of impartiality, and that's basically saying the welfare and interests of each individual, it should be given the same weight. So regardless of who that person is, or where they're from, what they have to say, or their moral reasoning, it should be given the same weight. It should be analyzed and looked at, you know as much as somebody else. Then the fourth one is the dominance of moral norms. We know in the world, our decisions a lot of times are based on what's considered, morally acceptable in our world today. And throughout the world, people have many different viewpoints on things, so that often varies a lot. Now, in my field of study in information technology and networking, technology is ever so changing, and people, a lot of times we put a lot of our personal information on the internet, whether it be passwords, whether it be, personal information such as our name, our phone number, our email, even social security number. Regardless, all that stuff is stored within databases um, across the world. And as a result, for those who handle that, database administrators, they have to make sure that they're not taking advantage of people. So with that being said, they have to make certain ethical decisions when dealing with that. You know, am I going to take somebody's information, and use it for my personal gain, or am I going to protect it against others who may be trying to get access to it, things like that. Also in computer programming, a lot of times social engineering people take it, programmers or hackers may take advantage of people by trying to, get their personal information, um, for personal gain, whether it be to gain access to their bank account or get their personal information and steal their identity. It could be various things. So it's really important to recognize, the importance of what's considered right and what's considered wrong. And, we think about in our world today, the right thing to do would be to protect someone's information if you have access, or if you have access to it, and not take advantage of them. That's kind of the moral norms of today. To that would be considered the right thing. So this concludes my presentation, and I thank you for your attention.